Hello, everyone. I'm Adrienne Cobb, and thank you so much for joining me in this course this evening, Awaken Your Soul Blueprint. And this is with My Wild Magic. And this is actually going to be my first webinar. So we're doing a run through on this. I greatly appreciate all of you joining in, and hope you benefit greatly from the call and the course that will be running over the next 6 weeks. I'll be guiding you through the breakdown of things that I have found over the years that are supportive of really understanding your soul blueprint, understanding yourself, where you fit into the world, that kind of thing. But I do want you to know also that there are different tribes of light and different beings that are also going to be working with us throughout this 6-week course. And so you and I will be working together and talking, and you're welcome to chat and ask questions and things like that. But be aware that if you are sensitive to energy, you might start to feel different beings, whether they be cosmic avatars, galactic councils, planetary light beings, star tribes, the angelic host, different ascended masters, the nature kingdom, that are going to be interacting with us. And the cool thing about that is that as they are overlighting the My Wild Magic energy and my service work that I bring to the planet and to each of you, that they have a sense of feeling into your energy on a soul level and how they can best benefit you. So you might notice that your dreams become more active, or downloading of energy, different awarenesses. And like I said, if you're sensitive to energy, you might also start to feel beings that are in your energy, and just to be aware that it's them. So you're kind of getting a whole host of the spiritual hierarchy that's going to be working with us. So I don't ever travel alone without them. So they are going to be part of everything I do. So I'm really glad to have them, and I'm welcoming them into the energy as well. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a background about the Soul Blueprint and how it came about on our first call this evening. So when I was about 15 years old, I did have a near-death experience through a car accident, which I was driving and hit a telephone pole through, I don't know, I hydroplaned. It was bad weather, and 15, it wasn't like I was some great driver. And anyway, but I did hit my head and went out. And I remember being above my body, out of my body, and having like a lot of golden light around me. But all I could think to do was to get back into my body, because I had different reasons for being here. And really consciously chose that. But from that moment forward, I was never quite the same. And it just sort of opened up a connection to the higher realms. And, I do think that usually all of us have intuition, which is actually the call we're going to be on tonight, is opening up intuition. And certain things will ignite it. And for some people, it is sort of like a trauma or a near-death experience or a very deep love. So different things can kind of open our intuition in a very significant way. And I feel that we probably have many lifetimes worth of accruing information and wisdom. And out of that, when your intuition gets awakened, it's almost like a flood of energy comes in, or doorways dimensionally open, which is sort of what happened in my situation. And it really didn't become super active till I was about probably 20 years old or so, when I was in massage school and was thinking I would do the healing arts on some level, working at a health food store, saw a flyer for Reiki, went and got initiated to it. I didn't really know exactly what it was, but I just knew I was really drawn to it. And so that just kind of opened up the door. And as I got initiated into level Reiki 3 and finishing massage school, everything just went on fire. And I never even went into massage, because as I was putting my hands on people, a ton of information would start coming in about them without me asking, without me wanting that to happen. It just did. And so, I started working with different healers and different people at that time in my life, and really learning how to manage the gift that had been opened, and grateful for it, and it's just been my path ever since. So, from the time I was 15 and probably being, just navigating that terrain, I moved out when I was 16. And just sort of kind of started my life journey. And then, like I said, for me, the Reiki initiation really sort of caused everything to kind of click open. And then I've been doing this work since I was about 20, 21 years old, in healing centers and teaching workshops and stuff. And I'm 51 now, so it's been a while since I've been doing this. And so what I noticed over the course of doing sessions with people, just really thousands of sessions, I've just been doing this a really long time. So as I've been doing sessions with people over the years, all different walks of life, all different cultures, in this country, out of this country, all over the place, that I noticed that there was a series of information that the Great Central Sun Angels, which are the beings that I work with in terms of my original tribe of light, started coming in, and they started showing me like a formula to help people, because my bottom line, no matter what session I ever do with a person, or if I just meet you on the street, or I'm visiting at your house having tea with you, or whatever, it's always to help a person come back to what their true life purpose is. What is their purpose? And part of that is when I had the car accident, I felt incredibly lost. I lost somebody that I love deeply. It changed my life radically. I was never the same after that. I didn't really feel any sense of connection to so much to this world, but I felt very connected to the inner worlds. And in the journey of that, feeling that lost, it was, in a sense, I'd say part of my karma, which is also one of the topics of Soul Blueprint that we're going to cover in one of the weeks. But it was sort of my karma, because I got to experience very deeply what it feels like to be lost in this world, to not know what your purpose is, what grounds you here. So when I had the near-death experience and really kind of integrating it, there was three things that I came back knowing that it's on a soul level knowing, so I never question it. One is that love is all there is. Like at the end of the day, at the end of every single breath we take, love is all there is. And so, I really try to move through my life with that being the basis of my intention, and really making that my primary intention, which it does govern all my service work. Second is that we all have a purpose in being here. And the way I sort of see it in relationship with my angels and on the inner levels is that the universe is like this great big tapestry of light, and each of us are individual flames of light. And as we show up as who we are, light turns on. It's like we weave our individual, very unique thread into this universal tapestry of light. And so it really does matter. Every single one of us, every plant, every rock, every person, every angel, every being that comes from source energy is very, just completely unique. And and important that you have a purpose. And I think our human mind has a hard time maybe understanding this big, maybe universal tapestry that we all belong to. But the best way I can tell you that you would have a better sense of it is that when you really come into universal flow, let's say in your day, or in universal flow in a relationship, or in universal flow in knowing that you're on the right path in life, or where you just moved to, what happens is that you feel this extraordinary sense of like connection to the all that is, and this deep sense of unconditional love and purpose and knowingness, that your light, the life force that moves through you, has meaning. So whether it's in an individual, just random moment that you feel this universal connection and universal flow and everything's just kind of lined up, or whether it's literally in like on more of a purpose level, you get it. So it's not even something I feel like I could tell you that we all matter, but I think it's hard to convey that until you've had the experience. And so what I really wish for you and want to be a part of in your life is that you get to have that experience of knowing your higher purpose and the freedom it brings you on a soul level, and the capacity to feel so connected to everything around you. And then on a micro level, I can say that you've probably already had that moment when you just feel really in alignment divine right alignment with yourself. You ate the right food that day. You took the right turn when you were traveling somewhere. You met with the right person at the right time. You were of service and everything just lined up. So you've had, those many experiences of it. And, maybe in our human form, one of the goals would be to be able to have more of those moments, but to click into that very deep, innate life service that lives inside you and become in universal flow to that. So when I'm talking about your soul blueprint, I'm talking about this innate intelligence, this innate brilliance that literally is the essence of who you are. And when you get into harmony with that, harmonious perfection, universal flow, divine right action, when you come into alignment with that, it's like, it's like bringing heaven to earth. It's like an amazing feeling, and there's nothing like it. It's like the energy of bliss or joy, or just being in this world but not bogged down by it. It's just the best feeling ever. So that's what I would hope and wish for all of us in this experience. So the three things I came back with is knowing that love is all that exists. Love, that's the basis of it all. Second is that we all have a purpose, and it's based on our individual unique flame of light, which is held within every electron, every cell of your being. Your chakras, you're designed for your unique purpose, and it's held in your DNA. And so as we go through these 6 weeks, it's a matter of really not only learning about the information consciously and learning how to proactively engage with the formula that I have found helps people to awaken to their soul blueprint, just from the thousands of sessions I've done with people, but to also have that connection on a divine level to where these beings of light, as well as your own cosmic Christ presence and tribes of light, you're literally igniting it in your DNA. So the DNA is kind of a more mutable energy. Some people describe it kind of like a ladder of energy. And when you're not very awake, the ladder is not perhaps in your DNA very active, and there maybe is only a few rungs. But when you start breathing through your heart and coming into your emotional intelligence and your heart's wisdom and your spiritual maturity, your DNA, there's many hidden gifts within the DNA. Like they used to think it was called junk DNA. Things, we don't need that. We don't know what it's about. Therefore, it's junk DNA. But really what they're calling junk DNA is it's the most special part of you. It's the part that could be intuitive. It's the part that could teleport, that could do telekinesis, that can travel dimensionally. So your DNA has many unawakened and hidden gifts in it. And so the more you awaken your heart's wisdom and your intuition and your higher chakra system, the more your DNA lights up with these amazing qualities. Now, your DNA and my DNA might be a little bit different based on who I am and all the lifetimes of experience that I have versus what you have. And so your DNA may have the gift of clarity, where I might have the gift of audible intuition and listening deeply. You might have the gift of being able to do feng shui and feel energy in a room. I might have the gift of tuning in and communicating on a soul level with you. So as human beings, maybe we have the opportunity to do many different things, but my guess is about it, just from what I've seen and noticed with people, is that you have unique gifts. And so part of this soul blueprint is about awakening your unique gifts. And so even though I have a kind of a basic formula of information, it is very kind of prescribed to you personally how you experience this information. So, so again, the first one, I'm sorry, I keep getting lost in this, but okay. So the first thing that I learned in the near-death experience, and you'll notice this a lot of times with people in near-death experiences, people usually come back with very similar sort of information in a sense. These three things are almost a little bit kind of common. So love is all there is. We all have a purpose. And then the third one is our time here is over all too quick. We way underestimate that. I think it's like we get sort of lost in these, I don't know, our daily routine of just, well, probably just our daily routine, and the days go by and the years go by, and really to be in gratitude for every day you have and for every relationship you have and the experience you have in nature and your capacity just to breathe and live in this world, because this particular world, out of many different dimensions we have to experience, the physical world is also very unique, particularly if you're wanting to experience a soul blueprint or a way of your creative flame coming alive, manifesting. And so this world gives us the opportunity in physical form through action, reaction, and gravity and time and space to manifest and create something, and then to feel the karma, the dharma, the action, reaction, and to have an experience of it. So sometimes, some days that really feels like a drag, but it's the beauty of this world, is to have contrast and to have all kinds of different experiences. And I notice this a lot when I travel. I don't care what I do when I travel. Like, we can go to, different countries and different restaurants and different nature walks. And it doesn't really matter to me if I like it or don't like it. Like, it's a personal preference. Oh, really? I really like that gelato and I didn't like this gelato. Or I really like, this experience in this country and not that one. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I got to say I like this or I didn't like that. And I got to experience what's working in my life and what's not, and I get to grow from it. So it's through the contrast and the ones that, the things that we like and don't like, that we get to have. And so the world isn't necessarily meant to be all the way our mind thinks it should be. It's just a lot of cool experiences. It's just experiences. And when you just have experiences and you don't judge it, you get to learn from it and grow with it. And so realizing that your time here is, it's kind of like a blip on a screen, in a sense, to really value it, to really be in gratitude for it, and to use your time here wisely. So those are the three things that I really harness in all the work I bring to the table. Is that it's always kind of in the background for me. And so out of all the sessions, the formula that I noticed, the very first one that came forth was the tribes of light, and we'll get to that in the next week. But basically, I started noticing that people always had a group of beings backing them. And it was either cosmic avatars, galactic councils, planetary light beings, star tribes, the angelic host, ascended masters, and the nature kingdom. And from that piece of information, I started noticing that everyone had a unique way that they experience their intuition. And intuition, this is the first call that we do, because intuition is something that all of us have. Like, it's not that some people are born with it and some people don't. It might be developed to certain different degrees, but intuition is something that we are all innately born with, because we're energetic beings. And to explain it, it's like when you were a baby, you particularly had the emotion of your capacity to be empathic. It's one of the primary intuitions. Animals have it, babies have it. And then depending on your unique gifts in terms of your own being an infant and a baby, babies, they're seeing energy before they are physical matter. The eyes haven't quite adjusted to physical matter yet. And so they're seeing more energetics and auras and things like that. So when you were a baby and an infant, you were very aware of your council of light, your tribe of light, because they're always around you. They're always around us. But when you're an infant, they're very much there. And it's a sense of, one of the basic human questions is, where do we belong? Who am I, which is something that we're covering. Where do we come from, which is kind of the tribe of light question. And what are we here for? So these are three primary basic questions I have found that always show up in the work I do with people, but it's just part of human nature throughout time, is those three basic questions. And I find that when you start answering the soul blueprint questions that we go through, you start answering those questions and you get to know yourself at a deep level. And to really know yourself purely without a culture, a political faction, a religion, a spiritual thing without, a parent or a family telling you. You literally get to discover who you are in the freedom of your pure essence energy, which I'm very much all about, people being free, being a free consciousness and free soul. And that when you know yourself, you're able to make better decisions, and you're able to guide your life versus just being told what you should do with your life. And that's going to be very helpful. So with the intuition being the way we're starting the call this evening, is the knowing that as an infant that you had your primal intuitions very active and aware. One of your gifts in your intuition was that you already could see your council, your tribe of light. And as children get to be about, 1, 2, 3 years old, some kids, especially the ones being born now, maintain that even more so, even longer. But for a lot of people between the ages about 1.5 to 3, something may kind of scare them. Usually what happens is they get scared about something, a loud noise, somebody yelling, negative emotions, something going on. And it kind of clicks them out of their connection. And whatever that age might have been, they will start to come more into their physical senses and their physical sight. And it's unfortunate that we're not taught how to maintain a better connection to our tribe of light, but your intuition is there. And so what we want to do is we want to look at the primary intuitions that each of us have, but figure out really which one you're more gifted in, because that's the one that you're going to want to more use as we go throughout the different weeks, but also in your life in general. So I'm going to give you just the basic forms of intuition that we have and the definition. And then we're going to do a meditation to help you to start to ground into that. So your one intuition is from the crown chakra, and it's clairsentient. And clairsentient is for people who have this distinct, so that they know things without knowing how they know it. They just know it. They just like this higher knowingness and wisdom. So that's what clairsentient is. It's where you're tapping into this higher presence of energy. And I find that it's one of the harder intuitions to have because you can't justify it. Like clairvoyance, which is clear vision in your third eye, you could say, well, I saw this vision, or I saw this creative expression, or I saw the aura, or I saw the truth about something. And you have something to kind of reference. I saw an image, I saw a dream, I saw an animal medicine, I saw a being of light. But with clairsentient, it's just this knowingness with no reference point. And oftentimes you don't really get to have it acknowledged until the thing that you are clairsentiently knowing and downloading comes true or comes into form in some way. So that one I do find is so expansive. It can be the more difficult one sometimes to interact with others with. Not that it's difficult to have it. It's actually a very peaceful one. And I find that it really taps you into the macrocosm. And I really admire people who have the clairsentient one. But when it comes to communicating that wisdom to other people, it's the harder one, because what do you say? I just know this without being able to explain why. So again, the next one then is clairvoyance, and it's through the third eye, and it's the ability to be clairvisual, which can be that you have a high level of creativity, that you are able to see the higher truth in situations or people, that you are able to see the future or the past, the higher outcome. So some people, again, have the type of clairvoyance where they can see into future, more prophetic things. Some people are very good at seeing the past or past lives. And again, it just sort of depends on what kind of clairvoyance you have in terms of where you're visual. Some people even have, when they're teaching or working with people intuitionally, they have almost like a ticker tape, literally, that runs across their third eye, where the words just show up and they just read it right off a screen. And that one's, I think that's kind of interesting too, to have that one. And then there's clairaudient, which is the ability to more hear the information as it comes in. And this one I find is also very related to the heart and the feeling body. And that's the one I more have as a clairaudient one. So when I'm doing sessions with you or talking to you, even though there's a glimmer of different things that I might can see, mostly just I've been doing this work for such a long time, it's not really my specialty. You know, if I really have to sit and concentrate. It's like for me, the information comes in and I'm hearing it more so. And it's not like hearing voices, although some people do hear voices. It's more like just hearing the information, almost like a hologram of information that comes in. There's many different levels of it, which are then directed as to how maybe I want to talk to a person. And so again, it's more clairaudient, clear hearing. Now this one also is probably really good for people who want to do music or poetry, but things that you could hear that you want to convey later, you know, that kind of thing. Then there is the body wisdom, right? And the body wisdom can come out of the heart, where it's people who their intuition is total heart wisdom. Like they just feel it in their heart and they know that they know the truth. They know about your soul, but they feel it in their heart, that type of thing. Within the body wisdom, there's also emotional empathy, which is where you're picking up on the emotions of others and maybe even the thought forms. And then there's also the body wisdom, which is a little bit more like the shamanic work, where your body is telling you that you should eat this plant, but not that plant. You should turn left instead of right. You should, you have a gut feeling about something or a person. So the body wisdom can be divided up into almost 3 different categories that you might find that you could be gifted in all 3, but it might be that you're, like for me, I'm highly emotionally empathic and I have to kind of be a little calmer. And then I drop into the feeling underneath the emotion, right? And then I'd have to be even calmer to listen to my body, to know, should I eat this or not eat that? Should I turn left or right? That kind of thing. So again, the body wisdom has emotions, which are a little bit more surfacey. It's where you're picking up on the aura and the auric field, the astral body of other people or things in your environment, and you're picking up on emotional energy. And that can also be that you're picking up on ghosts and things like that, or the emotions of reading a room, you know, the emotions of other people. Feelings is going to be more soul related, and that's going to be a little deeper, because somebody might be angry about something. They have a flash of anger, but underneath it, they might actually be afraid or sad or some other feeling. So the feeling is really going to give you probably a more accurate read. I mean, the emotions is important to read a room or a person to kind of see what's going on. And this is the one, again, that little kids, babies, little kids, animals are super emotionally empathic. And then as they start to grow and evolve and start to enhance their emotional intelligence, they may find that the capacity for feelings and knowing what somebody's feeling at a deep level, it gives them a more accurate read of what's really going on, and therefore their capacity to communicate to that person won't be as charged or reactionary. It'll be more in response out of a loving, feeling-oriented place. So these are like the different levels of emotion and intuition and things of that nature. So what we want to do now is I just want to do a guided meditation, or we're going to con some energy for this. So we're going to start calling in the different beings who are working with us this evening to really start enhancing, calling forth the perfect higher spiritual beings and teachers that are uniquely perfect for you to start working with you. So we're going to open up the soul blueprint energy. We're going to call in any being of light that's in your highest well-being and grace for opening up your DNA and your soul blueprint. And we're going to go into kind of a guided meditation to help open up the sensory input of how you might notice your the form of intuition that maybe you relate to the most. And again, you have all of them. They're all sort of built in, but you might lean more towards one than the other. And that's just good to know. And it's a good starting place because you're going to need to be able to access your intuition really for some of the other um, weeks that we get into. Having your intuition intact is a great way to move through the world, but it is how you get to know yourself, because to know yourself more truly and more fully uh, when it comes to identifying and having a way to relate to yourself. And so the intuition is such an important part. Like, we have our 5 basic senses, but that 6th sense, the one that's intuitionally based, is a big part of how we perceive ourselves in the world. And if you don't really have a keen sense of your intuition developed, you'll have a tendency to give your power away to others in terms of their opinion of your life, or what they think you should do in a situation, or how you should handle a relationship, or your money, this, that, and the other, right? So without your intuition intact, which gives you a much stronger sense of self and knowing of self, to know thyself, and to start calling your power back from other people that maybe you've lent that, um, that energy to. So some of this with the intuition will be calling back your power as well. And that's just a really healthy thing to do. Okay, so you may want to close your eyes just to have a deeper sense of connecting inward. You can leave them open if you want, but close them is probably going to be a little more beneficial for tonight. And we just want to begin by following the natural rhythm of our breath, just breathing in and out. And you're literally just watching the rise and the fall of your breathing, rising up your spine and then down the front of your body. Again, this helps to reset the nervous system, the emotional body, the thought forms, because all of us have been out, doing different things throughout the day. So we're just breathing in, breathing up the spine. You want to hold at the top of your head, connecting to your higher self. And then breathing out, going down the body. Now, this is called the microcosmic orbit. And so there is a orb of light that comes up the spine. You can put the tongue to the roof of your mouth. That basically connects the energy. It goes all the way down to the perineum, up the spine, top of the head, tongue to the roof of the mouth. It comes down. Again, so rhythmic breathing will help with any kind of anxiety. It balances out your hormones. It balances out your endocrine system. It recenters you. And as long as you're focusing on breathing in and breathing out, it gives your mind something to do, and it recenters you to where you're no longer engaged in your outer world, because the outer world is very distracting to some of the work we're trying to do, right? So it just recenters you back into your inner flow of energy. Like, you have your own heartbeat, your own rhythm. And rhythmic breathing is one of the techniques that we want to continue doing all throughout the 6 weeks. And really practicing recentering yourself. As we're rhythmically breathing, we're just opening the wisdom of the conscious heart that's connecting us in on a soul level. Calling forward to the temple of the great central sun angels. That's my tribe of light, helping to overlight this course, calling into each of your tribes of light, coming forth on your behalf. Calling forth the spiritual hierarchy, the mighty Elohim, Seraphim, and all the tribes of light, calling forth any being of light that's serving your highest truth, your highest enlightenment, your highest evolution in the awakening of your soul blueprint. Calling them forth now to be with us over the next 6 weeks. Whoever is going to show up on your behalf, your greatest benefit, to be with you over this next 6 weeks and beyond. And so calling them in, inviting them in now. And tonight, really helping us to ignite the soul blueprint aspect of our intuition. And just breathing in and breathing out. And I want you to imagine, we're calling forth that you create on the inner levels with your higher self a sacred healing chamber. And we'll be doing a lot of the work we're doing over the next 6 weeks. And we want to access information. The sacred healing chamber is a great thing for you to have personally for your own life and well-being and tuning in. And it's also a safe place that we'll be working at within the course. And so asking your higher self to help you to create a sacred healing chamber. And so the space itself might be in a crystal chamber of light. It may be in a forest. It may be at the bottom of an ocean. It might be in a garden. It might be in a temple of light. It might be in a circle of trees. And so you just want to let your higher self guide you to creating this sacred healing chamber. And just notice the environment itself. If it's light or dark, if there's crystals, if there's colors, if it should be sort of a space that has some sense of boundaries to it. Like it has a dimension to it, a dimensional field to it. A circle, a pyramid, a triangle, an island, a cave, a healing chamber of light. Just noticing the dimensions and that it is a very safe space that your higher self and your own higher presence is helping you to create. And within this environment, this dimensional environment that we're creating on the inner levels, that this is unique to you, I want you to notice if there's any nature elements there. Again, light, crystals, sound, water, wind, earth, trees, flowers. And so just noticing any natural elements, any of the elementals and the devas, any natural elements to your sacred healing space. Again, noticing light, color, sounds. I also want you to begin noticing, because when we travel lifetime to lifetime, we carry with us etheric sacred tools. Like you may have a staff that you hold in your hand, like a staff, like a wooden staff. You may have a wand. You may be wearing a crown, a jeweled crown or a crown of light. You may have an amulet or elixirs or rings, swords. These are sacred objects. And it's easiest sometimes to find them when we're creating the sacred healing chamber, that you may have a library that's hidden or within access. You may have healing tools or crystal singing bowls. And I just want you to begin noticing. You may have eagle wings or sage, jeweled objects, animal medicine. So I want you to begin looking around, not only at the natural elements of your dimensional chamber of light, this healing chamber, but now I also want you to start noticing if you have sacred objects that you have an affinity for, that you can tell have come from other lifetimes, other dimensional realms even, that are yours, that belong to you, that your higher self may wear, or that your higher self may have access to. And we're calling in now to your tribes of light. I want you to start noticing different beings that may be showing up. We're going to do this more next week, but we're just getting sort of a feeling tone. We're just inviting them into the sacred healing chamber. Any tribes, any beings of light that are coming in tonight to help you specifically to identify which forms of intuition, you may have more than one, but which forms of intuition are really heightened for you. So I want you to notice as you're comfortably in this healing chamber, comfortably in your healing chamber, there may be a massage table, there may be a chair, a throne, there may be a bear rug or a stone that you sit on. There may be a futon or a meditation pillow, a crystal light table, but just noticing where you would feel comfortable sitting, laying down, or even standing, whatever's most comfortable for you. And in this energy, I want you to notice as we start accessing, and I'm going to ask your higher self to specifically help you, and then there may also be other beings of light coming in. And you're just noticing whether it's a yes or a no question, or whether it is an awareness. Are you clairsentient? Is that one of your heightened sense of awareness? And just notice a yes or no. You might notice the crown chakra open, or it might just be kind of flat. Do you have a sense of clairsentient knowing or intuition to you? And it might be sort of a middle ground, like, yes, I do, but it sort of feels like it's not completely open. It might be kind of a sort of a secondary one. We're just asking that if you do have the gift of your clairsentient, that your higher self and any beings of light who are working with you begin training you on the heightened use, whichever form of intuition you're most gifted in. Now we want to drop to the third eye. And I want you to know, as you're asking the question, is clairvoyance, the ability of clear sight, my heightened form of intuition? You may notice the third eye open very brightly. It may feel kind of flat, like it's not really open. It might feel kind of in between. Yeah, I have it, but it may or may not be the heightened one, right? But if it is heightened, you'll know it, you'll sense it. So again, we're just asking the question, is clairvoyance my highest form of intuition? Now going to your audible sense, your ears, asking the question, yes or no. Is clairaudient the ability to listen, to hear? Is that my highest form of intuition? Now dropping into your body wisdom, dropping into the heart, the emotions, the physical body. And just asking the question, is my body wisdom my heightened form of intuition? Which is going to be emotions, the empathing of emotions and feelings is a big one for a lot of people, or my physical body. So just noticing that. That one might be like I said, it's one that we all kind of maybe have as a basis. It's a more common one, an easier one to access. And just allowing your energy field just to begin tuning into the crown chakra, clairsentient, third eye chakra, clairvoyant, the audible energy of clairaudient, the heart, and the solar plexus, the body wisdom. So the heart might be the feelings and emotions. If we drop a little lower into the solar plexus, that might be more the body wisdom, that gut feeling. And just noticing as you're scanning your body, what lights up in your body. I'm going to show you another way of access, right? So where on your body, between the solar plexus, that deep physical body wisdom, the heart, emotions and feeling wisdom, the ears, clairaudient, the forehead, clairvoyant, the crown chakra, clairaudient. And it might even surprise you what shows up, but I want you to begin to notice what lights up. Which part of your body lights up the most? Where do you feel drawn? Where does it feel very natural and very much at home in your energy field? And just in the comfort of your own sacred healing chamber, just getting to expand into this. So whatever part of your body or form of intuition, we want to start expanding into it. So now I want you to use your breathing, use your breath and start breathing into that particular area of your body as we're acknowledging it, thanking it, being grateful, being in gratitude for the heightened form or forms of intuition that you are gifted in. Giving thanks to your intuition, that sixth sense, and how that sixth sense really connects you to your soul, your higher self, your cosmic Christ presence, your higher presence, and then it connects you all the way to source energy. So we give thanks that this is done, and so it is. So just taking a deep breath and starting to very gently come out of your sacred healing chamber, coming back into your physical body, and taking a deep breath and grounding. Now, what you want to do is the more you start to begin paying attention to your intuition and having a better idea of which type of intuition you're active with, start paying attention to it throughout the day, whether it's a life question that you're asking, or a decision you have to make. If you want to go to this movie or that movie, if you should eat broccoli or cauliflower, if you should call this person or not call this person. If you're in conversation using your intuition about yourself or that person or your pet or a plant. So you're really just finding very gentle ways to start using your intuition. It's like a muscle. And the more you use that muscle, the stronger it's going to get, and the more you're going to start trusting yourself. And again, this is like the first level of the soul blueprint, is awakening up to your true intuition so that you can start really relating and perceiving your world from your own inner self instead of perceiving your world from other people's view of you. You want to start perceiving your world from your inner guidance system. So it's like kind of changing that around a little bit. And it'll be way more comfortable, and it will help you to stay more in universal flow with everything. So, so we're calling into the violet transmuting flame, sealing the energy of tonight's call, clearing our space, clearing the energy, clearing our sleep time and the form of intuition that we're going to be using. And I just want to open up. If anybody wants to share, you can put it in, you can make a comment and I can unmute you if you want to share about your experience with the intuitional meditation, or if you had any questions, you can type in the box. And people might be a little bit spaced out, and that's cool. We can be complete as well. But I wanted to give it space for anybody who might have questions or just simply want to share about their experience. I'd love to hear it. Okay. So Sarah, super spaced out and crown chakra is really buzzing. Yeah, that's true. When you start turning your intuition on, sometimes people will get the hair stand up on their arms or a buzzing sensation or a pulsation, that type of thing. Catherine says, me too. Yeah, so, and I will be, you can always contact me directly as well. If you wanted to text or email, I'm happy to talk to you independently. I think it's valuable sometimes in the group. And, if there's something that comes up between now and the next time we talk, I will probably open the call next time instead of just, with my story. I kind of like to hear more from you as well. And so we might open the next call with any questions that might have come up this week. And I would love to hear even stories about what you're practicing again. So if you have any stories this week, really keep them in mind so that you can share them with me and with the group. Agree, feel like I have a big crown on my head. Great, okay, good. Well, it sounds like everybody's having, or everybody who's commenting has, that you're in the energy and experiencing it. So, Mary, my temple space was very cloud-like, surrounded by clouds and white light. In my room, I saw a beautiful white horse and iridescent bow and arrows. So, but you see how Mary's talking, she's very visual. You know what I mean? Like for me, I was just more kind of listening to the energy with the group, but you can see how visual she was. And that's when that energy is around her temples, that's more clairvoyant. And she's describing beautifully this whole beautiful scene and beings that she saw. So that's what, yeah, that's what it's like when you have that. Okay, so see, Catherine has, says the buzzing indicate that is an area of greater intuition. I felt crown and heart and solar plexus. Yeah, I would definitely say seeing it light up, also the buzzing sensation would for sure be that energy kind of awakening. Let's see here. I just want to invite Catherine onto the screen. Catherine, you might have to actually accept this. I'm just practicing with this. So let's see here. Yeah, so Catherine, if you want to accept that, I just had a question for you about your experience. So if you accept it, it'll bring you on screen and I can actually ask you the question live. If you can't figure it out, I will basically, yeah, the buzzing indicates that is an area that's being activated. And right now what I did was, oh, hey, Catherine, hey, good to see you. And you have your mic on, right? Your mic is turned on? Okay, so. I can hear you. I can hear you, okay. Okay, so did you feel buzzing around all three areas or only one?
Mostly the buzzing up here, but I've felt not as strongly, but that the heart and solar plexus was also like kind of like lighting up definitely more than the audience and the third eye.
Okay, yeah, so the one that buzzed the strongest, that was my question, because I can get that they all might have been buzzing. So yes, all three are fairly active. I do find that people who would be interested in the kind of work we're doing probably do have really more than one intuition that's very active, but you will have one that's probably more direct. And so the way you're describing it in terms of the buzzing, which is your form of intuition about how you're experiencing it, yeah, the one that buzzed the most is probably the one that you are using the most in terms of your intuition. And the other ones will be there kind of as needed or to even maybe support the clairsentient one.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, all three are totally active. Yeah.
Definitely experienced all of them to some degree, but yeah, the clairsentience,
yeah, and it's kind of cool where the buzzing. Now, one of the great things about working with other dimensional beings and the spiritual hierarchy and the tribes of light is that because we're asking for their help, it's not just me on the call with you and us in the call together, we're actually asking them to heighten it for us. Like I'm asking them to help us. And so sometimes they will actually come into your energy field and kind of help out with a vision or help out with a buzzing sensation or help out with a color or whatever. So a lot of what we're doing on the Soul Blueprint, it won't just be linear information. It's going to be very much activated energetically, because the beings of light we're working with are going to be heightening the call for us, and then also training us on the inner levels when we're in between calls, either in our sleep time or when we're meditating or when we're just out and about during our day. You're going to sense them kind of working with you throughout this week, particularly the ones that want to help you with your intuition right now. So, okay, well, awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the screen with me like that and everything. So it looks like other people are kind of having similar things. So I'm super excited about next week. And next week we'll be covering the Tribe of Light. And I will give you a link. I think I probably need to email it to you, but I will send it out to you right now that you can click it on the screen. But at the same time, it's going to be better that, trying to remember how to make it active. Okay, there you go. So you see that little green box right beneath me? If you click on that, it's going to take you to the Tribe of Light quiz, and that'll help you to prepare. It's also on my website. So if you just go to mywildmagic.com, then you just click quiz at the top and it'll take you. So click the green box here, or simply go to my website, mywildmagic.com, click quiz. Go ahead and take the quiz at some point whenever you're ready. Or like I said, it's what we're going to cover next week, but it might be good going into next week's call, kind of knowing what your Tribe of Light is. So when we're talking about it, you'll have more of a reference for it. So look forwards to it, and, keep a journal. I find that that's super helpful, that if you are practicing with your intuition, try to keep a journal and write it down, because your intuition is like quicksilver a little bit and it's easy to forget. And I'd love to hear your stories. And it also might be very meaningful for you to write it down and to start relating to it, and acknowledging your intuition. Because I find that one of the most horrible things that kind of happen is when people, their intuition is made wrong, particularly as a child, or even by people in our life. And so it's very affirming for you to write it down, you to acknowledge it, and to be able to share it with us also, just to start healing some of where our intuitions have been made wrong or shut down or not acknowledged on some level, or we've just hidden it because we're afraid for people to see it. So definitely keep a journal as we go through the next 6 weeks. Highly recommend that. Okay, there is also homework and things that you can do on the Rizuku page, which is where you signed in. There is information. Each week we'll have some downloads of information that can help you, and that will be some information on there, most of which we've kind of covered, but it is on the Rizuku. And if you go into how you signed up, you should be able to access it. If you have any questions, let me know, because I have never done that before, so I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like Judith has put something in here. You can go here. So in the box on the right, there is a box that you can go to, put in your information, and then there'll be a place that you can go to. I think it's underneath lessons, perhaps. Yeah. Okay. Look forward to talking to you next week. Thank you so much for being on the call tonight, and super excited to go through the rest of the course with you. All right. Have a good night. Bye-bye.